Now to a look at the law. In the realm of law, it is hardly known that individual freedom and rights are most prevalent where Christianity has had the greatest impact. Nor are human rights advocates often aware of the philosophical dilemma of defining and justifying inalienable human rights without a transcendent and reliable, credible source such as the Bible, with its foundational doctrine of human beings uniquely created by God and in the image of God. On what other basis but the concept of creation by and in the image of God could we, non-arbitrarily, elevate the interests of humans over the interests of other animals or plants or even inanimate objects? If one operates with an evolutionary, philosophical, and scientific framework, it will be difficult to assign essential or superior dignity to the evolutionary accident called human being, the result of chance, natural selection, mutations, and time. And it would be impossible to escape the racism inherent in and argued from the evolutionary view that the earlier species of humans were inferior to later species. Please note carefully that the full title of Darwin's Origin of Species is On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. The legally entrenched idea that no one is above the law had its genesis in an encounter between an emperor and a bishop in the 4th century, and got 2 other shots in the arm by the British Magna Carta in the 13th century, and a bombshell of a book written by a clergyman in the 17th century. In AD 390, some people in Thessalonica rioted, arousing the anger of the Christian emperor Theodosius the Great. He overreacted, slaughtering some 7,000 people, most of whom were innocent. Bishop Ambrose, who was located in Milan, which was also where the emperor lived, did not turn a blind eye to the emperor's vindictive and unjust behavior. He asked him to repent of his massacre. When the emperor refused, the bishop excommunicated him. After a month of stubborn hesitation, Theodosius prostrated himself and repented in Ambrose's cathedral, bringing tears of joy to fellow believers. The emperor, too, was under the law, and Ambrose would not allow the emperor or others to forget that. Nor can we forget the significant influence of the Church through the Archbishop of Canterbury, Stephen Langton, and his Christian colleagues on the British Magna Carta, the Large Charter of 1215, which gave new rights to barons and the people in general, and which also challenged the notion of the king being above the law. The Reverend Samuel Rutherford, a Presbyterian, wrote his Lex Rex, or The Law and the Prince, in 1644. The main thesis, as implied in the title, is that the law is king, and so the king is under the law and not above it, a notion that was regarded as treasonously contrary to the tradition of the divine right of kings.